your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the right.
How's everyone doing? Good, good. Okay, please take a seat. Please take a seat. Get comfortable. First off, I just want to say thank you to God. Thank you to the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit for giving me this gift, for allowing me to do what I do. Thank you to the Apostle and the First Lady and to the entire congregation for welcoming me and my family here today. And also my brother, Rob-Tavius Madden, who is here to record and capture what we do here on today. It's such an honor to be here for not just a first time, but actually the second time, because I came here in August of last year and I got a chance to present a short presentation for the Back to School Bash. And it's a good sign when you're asked to come back again, because that means you did something right the first time. Okay. Now, before I go into my personal introduction, I just want to say thank you for your introduction, because it was very heartfelt. And something you said to me stuck out. You said I was really humble, and I appreciate that, because there was a time in my life when I became very proud of myself. And I believe it's okay to be proud and be confident in your abilities, but you don't want to be arrogant. And there was a time when a lot of people said I was arrogant, and I hated that because I never wanted to come off that way. And, I had to work on some things because I never wanted to be proud in the eyes of the Father. I wanted to be humble. I wanted him to know that I appreciate what he's given me. And I know that I can't accomplish those things without him allowing me to accomplish those things. So thank you for that. Again, my name is Martinez. I grew up not far from here in Chambers County. I graduated from Valley High School in May of 2012. And I worked a series of jobs in the area, from Opelika to Lynette to the Valley to West Point. And then I joined the military when I was 22 years old. I'm 31 now, so I've been in the military for 9 going on 10 years. And being in the military, I was able to meet my beautiful wife, and we have a total of 4 children. We have DJ, the oldest, which is a teenager. We have little baby Joseph, who is 6 months old. And we have 2 girls who they're not with us on today, but they'll be with us later to get back ready to go to school tomorrow for the week. Okay. Now, growing up, I played football and I wanted to go to the NFL just like so many other men. But then I realized I'm probably not going to make it to the NFL. I struggled to really believe in myself, and I gave up on that dream early in life. And though I did well in school academically, in middle school, I started to get focused and interested in the wrong things. I started to want to hang out in the streets. I started to want to go do things that my parents were telling me that I shouldn't do. And then when I got in high school, I still did well, but I was back and forth between doing the right thing and doing the wrong thing. And then eventually I got my life back on the right track when I started writing poetry, when I published my first book, and then again when I eventually decided to join the military. Now today I became an inspirational speaker. I speak in schools, I speak in churches, I try to share my failures and my success, and I just try to help people grow so that they can achieve success in their lives. So today I want to talk to you all about achieving next level success, okay? So as you see on the slide here, our title is Achieving Next Level Success. And there are a few things on this slide, on this presentation right here, that I want to touch on before we go to the next page. Okay, we see an eagle here, right? And I've heard many people say that eagles can fly higher than every other bird. And I've always believed that, until I did some research and I realized there's actually one bird out there that's been recorded as flying higher than the eagle. Now, the eagle is still a significant bird because it can still fly higher than every other bird out there in the world. The eagle also represents strength and leadership. And in order to achieve next level success, I believe we should be like that eagle. I believe we should continue to strive to go to the higher level, that we should be strong, and that we should be leaders to achieve that success. And as the quote says at the bottom, the next level isn't a place. It's a mindset you choose every day. So before we can even get to the next level, we have to decide and choose that in our mind and start to walk that way before we get there. Okay. Next slide, please. Now, the picture to the right is the picture we took when I came for the back to school bash. Again, at the time, my wife was carrying baby Joseph. And on our agenda, we have definitions we'll cover. We will talk about failure. I will give you my top 5 things that I've been able to do to turn my failures into success. We will do a deep dive on those top 5 things, and then we will do a workshop. Okay, so this is a 2-part series. Now, the scripture you see at the bottom is one of my favorite scriptures. And it's like a prayer for me because, again, I want to be humble. I want the meditation of my heart to be heard to the Father when I show up and when I speak and when I present to help you all. Okay. All right. So next slide, please. Okay. Definitions. Failure is an unsuccessful person, an unsuccessful enterprise, or an unsuccessful thing. How many of us have failed at something in our life? Raise your hand if you failed. Okay. We've all failed at something. And it's okay because we're not perfect. We're not always going to achieve something the first time we try it. All right. But we don't become a complete failure or a total failure unless we give up and we don't try again. So understand that failure is okay, but it's not final unless we stay there. All right. Now, success is the opposite of that. Success is success, a successful person, enterprise, or a thing. It is accomplishing an aim or achieving a goal. All right. And then what you see at the bottom is my personal definition of success. Now, we all know what success is. We know that it is accomplishing something, but I believe we make it personal when we write down our own personal definition of success. And my personal definition of success is to be a great father, to be a great husband, to make my parents proud, to take the things that they gave me while they raised me, to multiply those things, and to be a role model and to inspire people worldwide. And if I wasn't doing those things, I don't think I could stand here in front of you today. All right. Now, I'm not just here to talk about myself. I'm here to show you my failures, to show you my process on how I turn those failures into success, to show you the success, and then to go through an exercise with you to show you how to apply these things in your life. Okay. Next slide, please. Now, here are 4 areas in my life that I failed in. For my young people in the room, for my teenagers, for my young adults, for my school age children, I want you all to focus on the top 2 quadrants, personal and academic. And for my adults, once I get into the bottom 2, the professional and the financial, you can focus on all 4, but I really want you to focus on those 2 at the bottom. Okay. Now, personally, there was a time in my life when I struggled with anger. And when I would get angry, I would do silly things. I would go punch the wall. I would kick a trash can. I would hurt myself. I would hurt others. And I would disappoint my parents. And I was failing in that area. I was lacking self-control. I was making poor decisions. And again, I was hurting myself and I was hurting others. So whether you are a child and a young adult or even an older adult, sometimes we lack self-control, we get angry, and we make bad decisions. And when we're doing those things, we're failing in that personal area of our life. Now, I was also failing academically at a different time in my life. I started to skip classes and my grades dropped. There was a time when I failed a class because I let the grade drop so low and then I dropped the class. But because I dropped the class after the deadline, I still failed it. Okay. And then there was a time when my personal decisions, my lack of self-control, and my poor decisions bled over into me failing academically. So although these 4 quadrants are separate, failing in one area of your life can cause you to fail in another area of your life. Okay. So we want to be careful there. Now, professionally and financially, I started to fail in those areas when I became an adult. When I first joined the military, I was denied my very first promotion because I was selfish. I wasn't really being a team player. And when you are in the military, when you work in a team or a squad or a platoon, which is just a fancy word for a bigger team, it's not all about you. It's not just about you looking good and doing the right thing. It's about the whole team looking good and doing the right thing. Okay. So I was failing in that area. There was a time when I was taking a PT test and I wasn't taking it serious and I failed it. And then there was another time when I failed a job qualification test. Okay. So I wasn't doing well in those areas. I was failing in those areas. And then also there was a time when I was failing financially because I was not budgeting. I was not managing my money. I was not being a good steward of what was given to me. There was a time when I was not investing. And there was a time when my financial situation was so messed up, I considered doing freedom debt relief. And if you know anything about freedom debt relief or something like that, that's when you turn your debts over to a collection. Your credit is ruined. And then you have to rebuild your credit and rebuild your entire financial system. Okay. The only thing that stopped me from doing that at that time was an older cousin who told me, don't do that. Because if you do that, you are going to ruin your credit. Okay. Now, the reason I'm showing you these failures is because eventually I will show you how I succeeded in these same areas. And I believe if you're going to talk to people about how to be successful, you have to be willing to show them your failures first. You have to be relatable. You have to be authentic. You want to be transparent. Okay. And the scripture you see at the bottom is Proverbs 25:28. It says, he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Now, this scripture emphasizes self-control. When you don't have self-control, you make bad decisions. When you don't have self-control, you don't do the right things and you start failing in areas. When you don't have self-control, you're like a city broken down without walls. Anybody can come in and get you off track. Anything can come in and take over. So my encouragement here is, for one, to have self-control, to have self-discipline, and to not fail in these areas and not try to change those things. Okay. Now, when we get into the workshop portion, again, we're going to make this personal. This won't just be about me. We will then sit and everyone will take a moment to identify some things they may not be doing well or some areas they may not be succeeding right now. And then we will write down a game plan on how you can achieve success in those areas for you. Okay. All right. Next slide, please. Now, here are the top 5 things I decided that I would do to become successful in my life. You can take a picture, you can write it down. But once we get back into the deep dive, these 5 things will come up again. Okay. So if you don't get it now, you will get it then. But as I failed and as I got tired of failing, I decided that I would figure out a way to be successful. And I decided that I would give myself a series of rules, a game plan in order to become successful. The first thing I decided I would do is that I would do everything to the best of my ability. The second thing I decided is that I would have a strong work ethic. The third thing I decided is that I would be rooted in faith and that I would believe in myself. I also decided that I would know when to take a break and reset. And then I decided that I would plan, prepare, and execute. Okay. Now, again, this is just a snapshot of the 5. We'll keep moving so I can show you how these 5 things led to success in my life. And then we will get back into these top 5 things to break them down. Okay. So next slide, please. On the slide before the top 5, I showed you how I failed in these 4 areas. This slide shows how I succeeded in these areas. Okay. Now it's the same 4 quadrants: personal, academic, professional, and financial. And instead of these quadrants being red this time, they are green, because typically we associate red with bad, green with good. Okay. So red for failure, green for success. Now, after I started doing those 5 things, I decided I can't continue to be an angry person who makes foolish decisions. So I went and got counseling, not only as a student in grade school taking anger management, but even as an adult, as a grown man in the military. I went and got counseling because I decided that I don't want to fall back in that same trap and mindset that I was in when I was younger. Okay. I became disciplined. And instead of not listening to my parents and making foolish decisions, I started to listen to my parents. I started to respect my parents more. And I even went and asked them for their forgiveness, okay? And when I started achieving success in that personal quadrant, I started applying those same steps in every other area, and I started to achieve success in those other areas also. So instead of skipping classes and dropping classes, I locked in and I maintained a 4.0 GPA for 5 consecutive terms. Okay. I earned an associate's degree and I also earned a bachelor's degree, and I'm now working on my master's degree. So I didn't just apply these things when I was a teenager. I continued to apply these things as I became a young adult, and I'm still fairly a young adult, but I'm 31 years old now. I'll be 32 soon, and I'm still doing the same 5 things to continue to achieve success. Okay. But it didn't just stop there. Once I started to achieve more success in that personal area and then in that academic area, I started to achieve more success professionally. Instead of being denied a promotion, every promotion after that, I earned it fast. I remember a time when there was a promotion to be given within my company, and it was going to be given early. And there was 4 people who were eligible for it. I was one of those 4. And I was wondering, like, am I going to get it? Have I done enough? Every decision maker chose me to accept that promotion. So over those other 3 people, I got the promotion early because of those things that I did to achieve success. Okay. And every promotion after that, even up to my most recent one as a sergeant first class, it came really fast because of the things I've done. And I know we have some veterans in here. I know we have some people who are familiar with the military. And if you know anything about the military, then you would know that sergeant first class is a rank that many enlisted non-commissioned officers retire at 20 years. I've only been in the military for 9.5 years. So again, these top 5 things that I'm sharing with you today, I'm not just making these things up. These things work, okay? So I also earned a leadership award. I became Soldier of the Year. And then moving into that financial quadrant, instead of not budgeting, instead of not having investments, I learned how to budget. I started sitting down at my kitchen table, watching videos on how to budget, and even writing down a budget in a notebook, to now budgeting online with my wife. Okay. I achieved the 825 credit score. We became homeowners. And then at the bottom, you see numbers, which are returns on investments that my wife and I managed over the last 2 years. Okay. So again, I showed you the failures. I gave you those top 5 things. I'm now showing you the same areas in which I was able to achieve success. And at this time, we'll move to the next slide so we can do a deep dive of these top 5 things. All right. Now, the first thing, again, is to do everything you do to the best of your ability. I believe whether you are sweeping a broom, whether you are speaking, whether you are sitting in the classroom, you do everything to the best of your ability. And there are no conditions upon that. You don't do things to the best of your ability when you feel like it, or, you know, when the teacher didn't make you mad, or when your spouse didn't make you mad. You do everything to the best of your ability, and that's it. No conditions. All right. When you do things to the best of your ability, it doesn't mean that you will always be better than everyone else around you. It doesn't mean that you will always be number one, but it means you always put your best foot forward. You always put forth your maximum level of effort to achieve success in that thing that you're doing. Okay. When you do things to the best of your ability, it makes others want to give you an opportunity. It makes them give you another chance. It makes them call you back. Okay. Like the time I came in August, I did a short speech. Apostle Fears came to me. He asked me, would I be interested in coming back? I said, yes, sir. But if I didn't do it to the best of my ability the first time, he might not have called me to come back the second time. Okay. All right. Now, the second thing is to have a strong work ethic. Things won't always come easy in life. It doesn't matter if you're 5, 10, 25, or 45. Some things will challenge you. And challenges are good. But when you face those challenges, I want to encourage you to work hard at it. So you work hard in the classroom. You work hard as an athlete if you play a sport. For my young people, you work hard on your job. You work hard here in the church. When you're asked to do something here in the church, if that be sing a song, hold the tithe and offering bucket, or even stand up to be a deacon or usher, you have a strong work ethic and you work hard at it because it will help you be successful at the next thing you do. All right. All right. Next slide, please. Now, this third bullet point is the most important of all 5. That's why I put it on its own slide. And it should actually be number 1. But the third bullet point is to be rooted in faith and to believe in yourself. All right. Now, when you're rooted in something, you have a strong foundation in it. When you plant a tree or a flower or any type of plant, until those roots get deep in the ground, you can easily move it. But when those roots get deep and they continue to grow, it's not as easy for you to move that. So if we are rooted in something, that means we have a strong foundation in it. And faith, according to the scriptures, as we see, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You can't always see the outcome. You don't always know when you might get that promotion or when you might get the result that you've been working for. But you still need to have faith in it. All right. Furthermore, you have to have faith in God. You have to have faith in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and His Word. And if you choose not to, that's your choice. Because there will be people out there who will say, I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in God. That's their decision, though. It doesn't have to be yours. So be rooted in faith, okay? But that's only one component, though. Faith is only one component. There's a second thing that you have to have with faith in order for it to be fully effective. All right. And according to James 2:26, it says, for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. Now I quote verse 26 a lot, but when you read that chapter from verse 14 down to verse 26, it implies that multiple times. It implies at least 4 times, maybe 5, that faith without works is dead. So you can't just have faith in something. You also have to put some work in it. All right. Your faith is complete when you put your work with it. All right. And then believe in yourself. Be rooted in your faith. Put the work with it, but believe in yourself. Because yes, there will be people that tell you, you can't do this. You're not smart enough. You're not tall enough. You're not pretty enough. But you have to be faithful. You have to put in that work, and you have to believe in yourself regardless of what everyone else around you says. Okay. Next slide, please. Now, number 4, I like this one a lot because when you're young, sometimes people tell you, you don't need to rest. You don't get tired. But I disagree with that. So my 4th thing was to know when to take a break and to reset. Okay. Because think about it like this. When you use your phone or your tablet, every once in a while, you have to charge it up because the battery gets tired. The battery works itself down. And we're the same way. Whether you're young or older, whether you're in school, whether you're working, no matter what you do, you get tired at times. So you need to know when to take a break. You need to get sufficient rest at night so you can wake up the next day well slept, well prepared to go do what you need to do to achieve that next level of success. Okay. Now, I know there are many people out there in the world that tell you in order to be successful, you have to be willing to give up sleep. And I believe that. I believe there are times when you have to work extra hours. I believe there are times when you might have to stay up late and get up a little bit earlier, but you don't have to do that every single day. Because if you do that, you're going to find yourself burning out, and you don't want to burn out. Okay. And then the 5th thing is to plan, prepare, and execute. Now, when you plan something, you create a roadmap of where you want to go. You create a roadmap of what you want to accomplish. When you conduct your preparation, you are putting things in place in order to fulfill or implement your plan. And when you execute, you are showing up, taking action, and doing what you sought out to do. So for me, again, when I came last August, I think I gave a 7-minute speech, but I had a plan. My plan was to show up, give the best 7-minute speech I could give, and earn another opportunity to come back. That was my plan. And, I felt like I had executed, but it wasn't complete until I got the call. So, the first month went by and the second month went by, and I had not got the call yet. And I said, man, did the apostle forget about me? But a few more weeks went by. I said, no, Martinez, you have to be patient. He said he would give you a call. He said he would reach out, or he would have someone from the church reach out. So you have to be patient. So again, when you don't get the phone call at the time you thought you were going to get it, or when the coach doesn't put you in the game when you thought the coach should put you in the game, you still have to stick to your plan and still keep making your preparation. And when you do those things, when it is time for you to have that opportunity, you can show up and execute. All right. So again, know when to take a break and reset, and then plan, prepare, and execute. All right. Next slide, please. Now, this is the last slide. And before I break this slide down, I want to remind you again, at the end of this slide, we'll move into like a hands-on portion. Now, before we do that, I want to give everyone just a few minutes to get up, stretch your legs around, go use the restroom, get water if you need to, and then come back so we can do the hands-on portion so I can show you how to make this framework work for you to help you all continue to achieve the next level of success in your lives, okay? That's little Joseph right there, all right? Again, the eagle can fly higher than most birds. So for us to continue to achieve the next level of success, we have to be willing to go higher, all right? Knowing that many birds can't fly as high as an eagle, I like to think of that as there are some people who can't go with you to the next level of success. There are some people who we consider to be friends, but sometimes it's only for a season. And sometimes they were never your friend in the first place. They were jealous of you. They were envious of you. And when you decided that you wanted more for yourself, they changed on you. And then they told you that you think you're better than me, but it's not about that. If you want something for your life, if you want to achieve success in your life, you have to be willing to sacrifice some things, and not everyone is going to understand that, okay? But be like the eagle and continue to go higher. And then the last thing is that, again, the next level isn't a place. It's a mindset that you have to choose every day. So I'm encouraging you all right now to choose to be successful in the mind before you even set out to do it. And you tell yourself that every day, because then it will become a strong belief, and then you can actually go achieve the next level of success. All right. Now that's the end of the presentation, but we get a lot of value when we do the hands-on portion. So let's take about 5 minutes. Again, if you need to move around, please move around. And during this time, I'll have my son pass out some worksheets. It's one page, front and back. It won't take very long, but we really get value out of doing this exercise. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Great is your faithfulness.